What's up, guys? I'm John, and this is Matt.
How's it going?
Today, we're going to be talking about lenses.
And not just any lenses. The 3 lenses that I think everyone should own.
It's a bold statement.
And probably all you ever need.
Let's do it. Intro music. Just kidding. All right, so I'm excited to see what 3 lenses Matt thinks that you should have. See if you agree with Matt. I actually agree because we talked about this before making the video, and I was like, yeah, those are about right. That's the 3 that I would definitely recommend. So see what you think. Let's go and talk about the first lens, which is
First lens, 50 prime.
50 prime. And we are a low budget. I think Matt said that. So we don't have one with us, but we do have a lovely color copy. Okay, so that's the first lens.
50 prime.
50 prime.
And you can be as cheap as $100. You can get the 50 prime f1.8.
Okay.
You got a little bit more, you can go the 1.4. Or, if you got the budget, the 1.2. And this is kind of company neutral. I mean, Canon, Nikon, doesn't matter. That was a picture of a Canon lens. But the 50 prime, super crisp, because it's a prime. You don't have to zoom. There's no moving lenses.
It's prime, so it's a fixed.
It is a fixed lens. 50 millimeters. It is my favorite lens. If I could only have one lens in my life, I would have it. Okay. Because you can move around. You can be your zoom. Don't be lazy, because this is going to be tack sharp. Because there are not the moving lenses within. When you have a zoom, all the elements are rearranging, so you get at some parts of the zoom it fisheyes.
Okay.
Sometimes
This is consistent because you're fixed.
It's absolutely fixed. You have, and with today's technology, you talk about the ISO technology that Nikon and Canon push them, and you're in the 25,000 ISO, like just absurd numbers now. This is basically night vision. You can put it on f1.4, crank the ISO up, and you start shooting in low light, and you get great shots.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Like what the advantage would be to going to 1.2 versus...
It's from going, you get more, you get that wider,
more depth of field,
more light in.
Okay, let more light in.
1.8, 1.4, 1.2.
So if you had to choose one of those, I guess the 1.2 is probably way more expensive.
Yes.
So is the 1.4, is that like a good one?
1.4 is what is in a $300, $400 range. Okay. You can get a 1.8, which I've used for the longest time, for like $100.
So can we agree then maybe the 1.8 would be a good starter?
Yes.
Lens, and then maybe once you get more into it and you want to get more of that crisp
and when you talk about that depth of field you can get when you get to 1.8, 1.4, you think about those pictures with the bokeh, the soft lights behind them, where you see that some of that photography where the eye's in focus, but then the face falls. It's just gorgeous. I mean, that type of photography speaks to me. And I love shooting that way, being an active photographer, jumping around and being my own zoom. Right. Versus saying like, okay, let me zoom out, let me zoom in. I think it's more engaging, and that's just what I enjoy about photography.
To wrap that up, the first lens that Matt talked about is a 50 millimeter prime lens.
Yes.
And that's more for maybe personal use, hobby use.
Correct.
Certain profession, maybe
portraits. If you're doing senior
portraits
work,
and senior work and things like that.
Yes.
Got it.
This is a hot tip. You're probably going to want to look more from the fixed 105s. The fixed 85s. Okay. Because you get that focal length in the next lens.
Yeah, let's talk about lens number 2. What's lens number 2?
It's a handful. It's not a specific lens. It is that mid-range lens. And I'm going to speak professionally.
Mid-range lens. Okay.
Here's an 18 to 105 by Nikon. It is a kit lens. It comes with most of their DX cameras. Okay. If you get a Nikon D7200. If you purchase a Nikon D300 back in the day, this is what you got most of the time. Okay. It's like $300, but it had that full, from 18 to 105, we could put it on our photographers' cameras. Yep. They could go shoot sports. They may need to shoot a little more wide angled for that group, maybe like a football group. And then they could go into the school and shoot portraits and be able to zoom in and shoot around that anywhere from like 65 to 80 millimeter range on most school setups. that's about where the focal length is, you know, because you're usually 6, 7, 8 feet away from the subject sitting in the chair. And so this was our sort of compromise. Most Nikon and Canon lenses, even the cheaper ones, and I won't say cheap's not the right word, they're great quality. Yes, they're not going to be as tack sharp as the IS series, the L series lenses.
Right.
For volume work, they're totally perfect.
Yeah.
The 24 to 70, you know, it's like a $2,000 lens.
Right.
It's, you know, if you put it into a lab setting, yes, it's going to be much superior.
So they're both totally versatile, though.
Yeah, correct.
Which is what you're saying.
As we scaled up our equipment, our equipment needs, we had more and more photographers. We couldn't outfit people with this.
Okay.
You know, if a kindergarten runs by and knocks it over,
right.
Now we're repairing a $2,000 lens.
But
we could have backup $300 lenses ready to go. We swap them out and send this off and get repaired for cheap.
So you have to know when to use that lens.
Yeah, if you're doing high-end portrait work, doing senior work, this is much better because it's a fixed 2.8. You can get that more depth of field. But
are they both 2.8?
No, this is a variable.
Okay.
But if you're doing volume work, you know, doing school picture work, you're usually like an f8, f9.
So you don't need a low aperture.
7.1. Correct. You're not going to, you know, this is variable from 3.5 to 5.6.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the third lens. I think this one might be my favorite. Out of the three.
This is the other. If I could have two.
This would be number 2.
This would be. I would have my 50 prime, and I would have this one.
What?
A 70 to 200 2.8. Oh yes.
70.
It is glorious. 70-200.
Yes.
There's going to come a time, if you get into photographing schools, photographing leagues, they're going to ask you to do action. And
this is your action camera. This is your sideline.
Pull out your 70 to 200 2.8, put it on 2.8, put it on, you know, crank up the ISO to 1600, and go to town on the sideline at night. You'll get great shots. Be able to freeze that action.
Nice.
And nowadays, so you can buy new 7200s all day long.
Right.
But
there's plenty of good used ones
this
out
is there. Photojournalists, newspaper photographers. There's always look for used versions of these. You can find great deals on them. But you've always got that, so you can pull that out. You can photograph your action. Great for photographing. You can photograph volleyball. You can photograph basketball.
And you don't have to be on top of the players at that point. You can be far away.
Correct. You can be on the sideline.
So
the sideline, the side of the court. But you can. You think like if you're watching, say, a American football game, you'll see the photographers.
I think we know it's American football.
What the hell's going on out here? What the hell's going on out here?
Hey, look, this we could have international people watching this.
I hope we do.
You'll see those huge lenses. Okay. And so those are like fixed 400, 2.8,
yeah, those are
300.
The monopods
and the huge pieces of glass in there to be able to get that aperture.
Okay. All right, that was awesome, Matt. So those are the 3 lenses that Matt says you gotta have.
I think it's
your arsenal.
I'll fight anybody.
You'll fight.
If they say otherwise, no, I won't fight them.
I'm
not a fighter.
It's good advice, definitely, especially if you're beginning or maybe you're kind of advancing in your career in photography. Then these 3 lenses are great recommendations. So we'll also put some links and some more information about the lenses in the video. To
name drop.
Yeah.
Ken Rockwell taught me a lot about not worrying about the lens you have. You know, we talked about Ken Rockwell in our previous video.
Yes.
He is a firm believer in it. It's about the photographer and how you use your tools, not about the tools themselves. So and I've internalized that. And in practice, I have learned that I can run around with that 18 to 105 all day long and create quality sellable products to offer my parents. And I would challenge anyone to shoot the same with those really expensive lenses and print 8x10s.
It's overdoing it in some cases. Correct.
You would be outside of appearance. And sometimes that's important depending on,
where your region.
Sometimes in our market we were in, that sometimes the parents would have better equipment than we would. But It's about how you use the tools.
Yeah.
And photography has always been about that.
And to me, at the end of the day, the parent or whoever, the content of the photo is more important than anything.
That's the hottest of tips.
Let's end it on that.
And we have talked about that before.
Yeah.
You can link to that video about the smile.
That
about
smile.
the hair.
You're right. We should link to that video.
I think we should.
Yeah, it's about the kid. Now, I mean, unless you have a parent that's like a, advanced amateur photographer or professional photographer, no one's gonna, be critical because you had a 2.8 lens, or whatever, or a $300 lens instead of a $2,000 lens.
Why weren't you using a 2000? Yeah.
Right. They're gonna say my kid looks great in that picture. Great job. It's about the photographer, not about the equipment at that point. That's when I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That was great, Matt. On that note, I think those 3 lenses were a great recommendation. And check out more videos that Matt's reviewed. So many things now on our videos on our channel. Highly recommend checking those out. There's a lot of great information. Thanks for watching.